What up, it's Shankster94, and welcome to the prologue for my full play of Resident Evil 0. So like always, I want to quickly inform you guys that the purpose of this prologue is to give you some details about the game in general, a rundown on how I would go about playing the game in respect to my full play, and a small peek at some gameplay elements. I'll be demonstrating some of those elements in-game as it will give a better representation, but I will not be actually playing through the game in this video. Alright, so Resident Evil 0, in relation to its title, serves as a prequel to the events of the first Resident Evil game, primarily remake, since the events within were well perceived as canon to the storyline. It basically tells the story of STAR's Bravo team's initial mission into the Arklay Mountains, and primarily features Rebecca Chambers' personal journey leading up to her presence in the mansion incident. That being said, she's one of the two protagonists of this game. The other is a new character introduced to what I consider the list of classic characters, ex-military convict Billy Coen. Unfortunately, this is the only game in the entire series other than Umbrella Chronicles where Billy is featured. He's one of those characters along with others like Carlos Oliveira and Rebecca herself that could use another game. Now I'm going to take a second and go into the options menu here to show you some things. First of all, display. Just like Resident Evil Remake, I have the choice to go with the original 4:3 ratio or an enhanced widescreen ratio when reality it's not enhanced at all. It's just they zoom into the picture a little bit and up and down functions are put into place to where it's cutting off some of the picture above and below the screen. So, yeah, I will attempt to show both of these perspectives like throughout my full play of this game, just like I did in Remake. That's the only thing really in this menu that I care to show, really. What is language? Oh, it's it's display. As for subtitles, you guys probably want that in case you don't understand things. Alright, so that's all I need to show in the options menu. Now before I start discussing some gameplay mechanics, let's keep to full play tradition and watch the one and only demo reel of this game. There is only one. Skip to that for you guys. Here we go. Alright, so we got two characters, Rebecca Chambers and Billy Coen. Ooh, check that out. We switched characters. We're able to switch characters during gameplay. And obviously they could save each other.
Let's regroup.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus. Of course, new game, new enemies, and the works.
Come on.
Wow. Okay, so that was a pretty short demo. And it's the only one, unfortunately. But you probably gathered that the gameplay is practically the same as Resident Evil Remake. This is because both games use the same gameplay engine. And they were also released in the same year, 2002, and on the same platform, the Nintendo GameCube. You could say Remake and Zero were twin games, because in the same process, both were later ported to the Nintendo Wii in 2008 under the title Resident Evil Archives, and finally remastered for current-gen consoles in 2014 and 16 for Remake and Zero, respectively. Other than the Nintendo Switch, which again is funny considering they were both Nintendo exclusive for a while. A quick little fact about Zero alone is it was originally being developed for the Nintendo 64. I'm not too sure, but like a lot of unreleased games or ports, there may be a playable ROM or ISO file of this version somewhere in the depths of the internet, but I personally haven't looked for one, nor care to feature it. Now, one difference between Remake and Zero is that the latter doesn't have the notorious zapping system within. Instead, there are several events that can be triggered with either character. This will make the game much more simplistic for my full play. So now I'm going to go ahead and go into the game, so I could actually show off some of these gameplay elements. So yeah, of course, we got Rebecca Chambers here, and we got Billy Coen right next to me. And yeah, like I said earlier, you can see the gameplay's similar to Resident Evil Remake. Yeah, like almost exactly the same. Alright, other than the fact that now I have two characters like in the same view, and I actually have the ability to switch characters. So another gameplay element that was featured they may have noticed in the demo was the fact that you have the ability to control two characters at the same time. This was an exclusive feature to Resident Evil 0 and wasn't seen in any game since, all the way up until Revelations 2, 13 years later. With this ability, you can switch between characters at will, as you can see here. Yeah. You could also actually control both characters' movements using the two different analog sticks for current-gen consoles. So that could come in handy for certain situations, because your partner will follow you unless you order them to stay put, so they could run into enemies if you're trying to avoid them. So that's where being able to control the other character's movements will come in handy. Alright, so yeah, you have the ability to switch characters at will, and they both have their own inventories. There we go. Okay. They both have their own inventories, and this is actually essential to the completion of this game, as there are a few areas where you will have to separate Billy and Rebecca. Having their own inventories, you also have the ability to swap items if they're within range of each other. So check this out. Exchange. I'll put it in Billy's inventory. Exchange some ammo. With ammo, you could actually choose like an amount, like every 15 or so bullets. So yeah, it's a great way to even things out if you wanted to. Yeah. Another gameplay element that Zero introduces is the ability to drop items where you currently stand. So watch this for a second. I can leave this first aid spray right here, and see, it will remain there for the entirety of the game unless I come back and pick it up. This brings about a whole different way of conserving inventory space throughout the game. Because of this ability, the classic item box is non-existent, which makes Resident Evil 0 the first game in the mainline series to not have item boxes. Instead, you are forced to backtrack to the area where you dropped the item if you're in need of it again. Luckily, the map feature in this game provides names and locations of dropped items so you can retrieve them more easily. So, as followed. Just the first aid spray I dropped. And it's represented as that green flashing dot, like on the map. And depending on the type of item will, I guess, indicate its color. Alright. Alright, now I think I'm done pretty much showing in-game elements, so I guess I'll return to the main menu. There we go. Alright, now let's touch upon this game's ranking system and the rewards associated with it. Unlike Remake, which isn't a letter-based rank system, Zero does provide letter ranks. The requirements, however, are exactly the same as Remake, being fully dependent on the amount of time used to complete the game. Using first aid sprays or saving the game will not affect your rank, so you can do that as much as you want. That being said, you probably will see me use a couple first aid sprays in these playthroughs. So the lowest rank, of course, is a D rank, which is simply beating the game. Taking more than 9 hours to do so. So the award for that is the closet key if you're playing on an older version of Resident Evil 0, like GameCube and Wii, and it gives you the Leech Hunter minigame, which happens to be this game's exclusive minigame and will be a part of this full play. Next rank is C rank, which is earned under 9 hours, the award being the same. Then a B rank, which is under 7 hours, and the award is still the same. It's not until an A rank, which is under 5 hours, where you get an additional reward, and that is the submachine gun. The highest rank, of course, is an S rank, which is achieved by completing the game under 3.5 hours, and the reward is the infinite rocket launcher. Now, 3.5 hours can be pretty tough to get under if you don't know this game relatively well, and it's almost impossible without skipping most cutscenes, as they count towards your time. Luckily, there is a pause feature in this latest version, which freezes the clock. I don't recall there ever being such a feature in the earlier ports of Zero. I really don't think there was. So So it has been made much easier to achieve an S rank in the remastered version. So, a new game mode that is exclusive to Resident Evil 0 HD Remastered, which is the version I'm playing, of course, and is unlocked through mere completion of the game, is Wesker mode, which swaps Billy's character model with Albert Wesker's Midnight model from Resident Evil 5 and Revelations 2, as well as gives Rebecca a Wesker-ish outfit. That's all I'm going to say about Wesker mode, however, as I do plan on playing through it with this full play, so I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to demonstrate anything in it or whatnot. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and reveal my game plan for fully playing this game. As probably expected from you dedicated viewers who've been watching these full plays from the start, you know full well I never play these games only once, since there's always way too much to cover in game to be able to still complete it in an adequate amount of time to also unlock everything in a single playthrough. The last game I fully played, which was REmake, I ended up playing through that game 12 times due to the 12 possible endings of it. That game burnt me out and is one of the bigger reasons why I was much unmotivated to finally get started on this game. Now rest assured, I will not be playing Zero nearly as many times. As I said earlier, the zapping system from REmake is basically absent in this game, so the total number of playthroughs will be 1/3 the amount of REmake, which comes out to 4 total playthroughs. The first playthrough, as usual, will be the most casual going with the most attention to detail, collecting all the files and maps, visiting every room, viewing every cutscene and door animation, unless I've been through that door already, and using most of the game's weapons. There's no way I'll be unlocking the infinite rocket launcher in the first playthrough since I won't be skipping any cutscenes. That will be the objective of the second run throughout the regular mission. However, that won't be what I consider my second playthrough. Instead, I'm going to be doing something that I've never done before in my full plays, that I also don't plan to do too often. I'm going to be playing a minigame in between runs of the main campaign. So my second playthrough will be my completion of the Leech Hunter minigame. This will give me adequate resources to more easily achieve my objective of the third playthrough, which will be my Speedy Run. Not necessarily a speed run per se, but a hasty playthrough where all door animations and previously seen cutscenes will be skipped, all be unequipped most of the time to allow for faster running speed, and I'll be plowing through with the spoils of the Leech Hunter rewards. I will, however, change costumes for that playthrough and still watch cutscenes we haven't seen since I plan to have the opposite character trigger them if possible. The fourth and final playthrough will be Wesker mode, and we should have the infinite rocket launcher on hand for that. Then, of course, when all the playthroughs are complete, I will have my bonus video featuring anything else that I need to possibly mention, and the epilogue concluding the full play. Alrighty people, so that's going to do it for the prologue to my full play of Resident Evil 0. I will see you guys in the first playthrough. Peace out.